Teeters on location inside the Sjoberg's cable network. I'm here with Dick Sjoberg, our Key to the City today, brought to you by the travel-minded professionals of Bergen Travel, where your dream vacation begins. Richard Sjoberg, of course, the president and CEO of Sjoberg Cable, a technology pioneer and member of the governor's Blue Ribbon Task Force on Broadband. I have never been in the heart of the network before. And I guess all I can say is, wow. Tell us what we're looking at in here, Richard.
Well, we're looking at a lot of, all the yellow cords are fiber optic cables running in and out of devices. Oh, don't touch them.
Okay.
It's glass.
Okay.
And it's just, I'm not even,
don't touch them.
I'm not even allowed to touch them.
What will happen if I touch them? That'll interfere with the network, right?
No, I'm just afraid that if you don't know what you're doing with them, you could break the glass.
Of course.
And then something would happen. And that particular setup there is a 10 gigabit per second connection to the internet. There's another 10 gigabit connection down there. And our third 10 gigabit connection is back here.
Okay.
So we have three redundant 10 gigabit connections to the internet right now that we're using. And then we use a specialized router sitting over here, which sorts it all out, as we talked about earlier about routers. Then a lot of this equipment here is fiber optic transmitters sending out to nodes. And up here is more fiber optic connections, again, going out to different nodes. We have 32 different nodes, service nodes in Beaver Falls. When we first started the cable system, we had one service node.
Wow.
So we've broken the system up into little tiny pieces. We try to have about 100 homes on a service node so that they're very compact.
We're here to talk a little bit too about internet and broadband, and you were kind of at the heart of that when all of this started. What did you tell me, Dick? Maybe 25 years ago?
About 25 years ago.
Did you ever think it would be this?
No, where we're standing here, just right back to about here in this room, was our original head end. And all of the stuff that's been built back beyond there has been added since that. So we've been expanding, spending a lot of money on this equipment and expanding the equipment, putting in more and more fiber optic connections, both to bring the internet in and to get it out to the customer, shortening the distances to the homes, raising the speeds, increasing the capacities of our equipment, like our CMTS here, which takes the signal from the customer home and gets it prepared to go on the internet. Behind me here is a router, and that router then determines where it's going to go on the internet and sends it off.
And you told me this morning that for families that understand the internet, that have access to broadband, they can save thousands of dollars a year. It's made a real difference financially in people's lives.
Yep. The internet has gotten to the point where it's touched all of our lives in so many ways that sometimes we don't even think about. And we were talking earlier about how the internet itself works almost on artificial intelligence. Well, that's going to be the new thing. There's a lot of talk about things like, for example, a lot of the new high-end refrigerators, the real expensive refrigerators, have an internet connection. And one of the things it does is it monitors the pressure and temperature in the compressor. Say you've got a cat or a dog and it sheds, and that hair gets sucked into the refrigerator fins, cooling fins, it'll clog it up. And then the compressor temperature goes up, it becomes less efficient, it costs you more money to run your refrigerator. And now the newer refrigerators will send you out an email and say it's time to clean your compressor and your cooling fins because the temperatures have gone up. That'll save you not only money in electricity, but ultimately if the temperature gets high enough, the thing will quit. And it's things like that. And now these self-driving cars will have information in it that will have to be sent over the internet. Just a lot of stuff that we don't, thermostats that will learn your habits and connect by Wi-Fi to the internet, and then they'll give you, they'll let you know if the temperature is above or below a certain limit, so your house doesn't freeze up if you're out of town on a trip, or even at work when it's 20 below. It doesn't take long. If the furnace quits in the morning right after you leave the house, it doesn't take long for your house to freeze up. And as anybody who's gone through that knows, it's really expensive. So there's a lot of stuff.
So this morning we asked, how does it work? And you said it's all about FM.
Yeah.
And FM stands for?
Friggin' magic.
Yeah. And Dick described it as a series of routers, which really, but an immense series of routers. And who's in charge? Who's in charge, Richard?
Well, essentially it's the large telephone companies that have contracts to run it, and there's a group out there called ARINS, and that's the American Registry of Internet Numbers, and they give out the IP addresses, and that's a quasi-private, it's kind of a private government relationship there. The government monitors it, but they operate as an independent business, and that's one of them. And then there's ICANN, and there's some other companies like that are in a similar situation. But the overall day-to-day management of the internet is done by the large telephone companies that operate and manage the backbone.
Dick Sjoberg, thank you so much for having us out today. It's
you're welcome.
Absolutely fascinating. We hope you learned a little bit more inside the inner network, Sjoberg's Cable. I'm Key Teeters.